And what did we get? I missed it. I missed it. What did we get? Oh, hi Cloud Leon. I can't speak today. Older. Has anyone seen? Oh, we've all lost our minds, if we're being honest. Hey, Millie. You guys have no idea how complicated this stuff is. I shouldn't say y'all all as in like all encompassing, because somebody does. Somebody understands. All the stuff that I'm doing. Ooh, so much. It's a lot. Setting up all the chats. Hey, Jocular. I gotta pop out the other chat now. There we go. We got Tangerine Paul, Brian, Goku, hey Corey, and Wall Party. I really wish I knew how to get the red app off this thing that it's doing where it's just showing me everyone's ats. Hey Singleton. Hey Mr. Wheels. Sorry guys, I'm still doing a couple of things here. Okay. I think we've got like everything going. There we go. Wonder if I should do it like this. Just trying to find out. Yeah, like irrelevant now. I am Winston. I am live. I'm just trying to adjust things. You know what I'm definitely going to do is turn off those. How do I mute these? I'm afraid to mute those. Clear all. There we go. Yeah, I have no idea why. I don't know how I do that. No haircut, no haircut. That's next month. Well, that's this month. Hold on, we're in August. Alright, let's see. Y'all know the drill over on TikTok. Likes up to 2K, and then, sorry guys, you have to wait for TikTok to catch up. TikTok needs to get the likes up to 2K. And then, thank you, Wheels, for subscribing. We will open up these phone lines. Let's see. Thank you, Wheels. You are entered in. AZ. I don't mute anybody, so I don't know if you realize how it works when you pop out your chat, but I'm unable to mute anybody when my chat is popped out. I can't mute a single person. So when it comes to something that you're complaining about, you're either complaining about a bot, right, or moderators. And so then they only mute you if you say off the wall stuff that you shouldn't be saying to anybody. Or at least not be saying behind an anonymous account. We'll put it that way. Bailey, I don't want the cat doesn't leave the room. The kitten can't leave. I already answered your question. Like, and not everybody just is commenting questions. Literally, your question is answered. I don't know what noise you're talking about, Patrick. No, CK, I no longer have my camera mirrored. That's what it is. That's what it is. You're not crazy. I just no longer have it mirrored. No, that's not what I wanted. There we go. Just want to always remind everyone how scared they are to ever come up and talk. We'll find out. Hey, nobody. Thanks for calling the stream. Okay. I can't even speak today. Right? The purple app is perfect for me. Oh, that's you, Jocular. Thank you. Oh no, having multiple chats cloudly on is just hard. Thanks for calling the stream. Are you there?
Yes.
How old are you?
20.
Did you vote for Trump?
Yes.
When were you born?
2005.
I just don't trust it. I'm sorry. Thanks for calling the stream. Are you there?
Yes, I'm there.
How old are you?
26.
Did you vote for Trump? Oh, thank you, Matt.
Nope, I voted for Kamala Harris.
Well, I do appreciate you. I am just looking for Trump voters and supporters. So I do hope you have a great night, man.
Yeah, I'm watching you stream too.
Thank you. Thank you, Goku, for knowing what I meant. Yeah. The way that some people just like comment weird stuff and then like, I don't know, don't realize something is interesting. Hi, how old are you?
54.
Did you vote for Trump?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do you still support him?
Yes, I did.
What's your number one reason why?
Pretty much. I'm a values voter. I am an independent. I'm not a Republican. I'm African American. I live in Detroit. And so, I have a lot of people that disagree. But mainly my vote has been based on my values.
Okay, like what
So a lot of the policies that, and I have a lot of friends that are Democrats as well. But a lot of the policies that the Democratic Party had put out, I just can't support as a Christian, as my personal views.
Okay. Did you say as a Christian?
Yes, ma'am. So I know you're saying that there are things that I don't agree with everything he does. And to be quite honest with you, the political system right now is very toxic on both sides. But in order to reconcile my vote, I have to pick the things that policies that I believe that will line more up with my faith. So that's why my stand. And I think, well, no, I'm just going to stick with what I believe because I know that a lot of people that I know that vote like me, that's how they think. That's how we talk.
Okay. And I don't mean this in any bad way, but I do hope like at the end of this you are able to replace your smoke detector battery because that's a health and safety issue, and I don't want you to not be able to be aware if you have an
Well,
actual fire
I have,
happening in your house.
thank you because
Yeah,
I know my family keep telling me, and I know I keep forgetting to change it. But I
well,
do
you gotta
have
do it.
a,
You gotta do it. I wasn't trying to cut you off. I'm sorry. I was just saying,
oh
like,
no,
you
that's
gotta do
okay.
it.
Thank you though. Thank you.
Hmm. So, like, was what policy did the Democrats pass that affected you or you felt was going against your Christian beliefs?
In particular, um, their stance for pushing of same-sex marriage,
Hmm.
their stance for it was just a huge push for it's particularly with children. I just didn't like a lot of the things that they were pushing.
If
That
I
didn't like.
can, so when it comes to same sex marriage, was that required for churches to perform the ceremonies?
No, but there has been
Okay.
some pressure. If you look at the way things were going, even under Biden administration, and Kamala was the first one to perform a same-sex union in California. That I know. As an attorney, she did. And I have family in California, and I totally was against her in that
Gotcha.
aspect. Hmm.
So what it sounds like to me is that so while same sex marriage became legal
That
within the
wasn't the
United
only thing.
States,
I don't want to put it off of that.
no,
That
I
wasn't the only thing, but I'm also against abortion. There's just certain things that biblically I can't stand with them on.
okay. So I just want to be clear. Like I recognize in the Bible that it states that marriage is between a man and a woman, but nowhere else in there does it actually say that homosexuality is wrong. That's the only basis that you could have to go on, which is why the law, when it was written, has no requirement that churches have to be the ones that perform the ceremony. It's just giving them the ability to have the same rights as a same, opposite gender couple would have normally for a legality standpoint. It's not requiring anyone to go against their biblical beliefs, as you would put it, and say that they have to participate or perform it. That's up to them.
I
Now, when
never
it
brought
comes
that
to
up.
the topic of abortion, I mean, you brought up your Christianity. I was just explaining that. I do agree with
You
you that the
said
Bible
there's
does
no
say.
scripture, but there is in Romans. It talks about men being turned over to their own unnatural affections and women as well.
And the
But the
Bible
term
also actually
homosexuality,
supports grape, and it also supports same-sex
no, it
grape.
doesn't.
The Bible says that if a man has a problem of having committed a specific wrongdoing, that the wife is then responsible, and that his neighbor shall lay with his wife as retribution against the man for wronging his neighbor. Like, ma'am,
What
you
scripture
can
is that?
say, I believe it's Leviticus. It might also be Exodus,
But
but
you're
you
taking it
can
all out
say
of
that as well.
context.
But no, it's literally in there. It's saying that the woman is responsible for the man's crime. The Bible actually endorses rape. The Bible also endorses slavery. The
The
Bible
Bible
actually
doesn't
gives
just
the Bible
endorse
actually
rape.
gives a recipe for a priest to perform an abortion on a woman in Numbers 5 verses 11 through
What you have
31.
is people misinterpreting the
No,
Bible
ma'am.
and
It's
making that
actually written in
stuff.
there. You also
No,
have an Exodus where the Bible, where God does not even give a
I'm
value
sorry.
of
Put me on
life.
your channel
The
because I
God
saw
does
your
not even
title.
give a value of
I saw your
life.
title. Why do you support Trump?
And I'm addressing
And I
why
gave
you
you
said that
my.
you support
You're
Trump,
not.
okay?
You're not
So
gonna change my mind
within
by
Exodus
trying.
21, verse 22, God doesn't even give the value of life to a fetus, an unborn fetus. What he actually says is that
Well,
if a
you
man
just didn't
causes
give
harm to
value
a
because you
pregnant
call it a
woman while she is
fetus.
pregnant, and it causes her to either,
Jeremiah
there's multiple
says
different
that before I
translations of it,
formed you in the
either
mother
give birth
womb,
early, have a stillbirth, or have a miscarriage, right? But since it's
you
forced
told
upon
me
her,
you
it's also
consumed
caused,
all of
which
the
could be
scriptures.
by another person, by a secondary party, which could be called an abortion at that point because it's a termination of a pregnancy. The only thing that that person that caused the harm to the fetus owes the family is monetary value. God doesn't even give the fetus a value of life prior to that. He gives them monetary value. And if you go all the way back to the book of
Understand?
Genesis, if you
What
go
God are
all the
you
way
talking
back to the
about?
book of Genesis, right?
That's not
It
my
even says
God.
specifically, you just haven't read your Bible. It's okay. Like
I
most people
read my
haven't.
Bible. You
You
haven't
haven't read
read
all of
it.
it. Numbers
You read
5,
it out
verses
of your
11 through
point of
31.
view.
Exodus 21 verses 22.
You're getting
The
things all
Exodus
out of
is the
context.
laws
Just
being
because
given
you
to
pull a
the
scripture
whole
don't
in
make
the
it
entire book of
correct.
Exodus are the laws of God being given to Moses to give to the Israelites, right? And then you can go even further where I'm sure the next part is going to be like, well, Jesus said that those laws are abolished. Jesus literally says within that line that I did not come here to abolish the laws, that I have come here to fulfill them. And
Fulfill the law,
these
which
laws,
is
the
what? Just
laws
keep
will
the
live on
law.
forever past me. He literally says that in the very next verse that nobody
Which were the
reads.
two laws that you live? Love thy neighbor as thyself and love the Lord thy God with
You're
all thy
not
heart.
loving anybody if you are also
Yeah,
condemning
I'm
people at
loving
the same
people by telling
time.
them the truth. I don't hate anyone, dear.
No, ma'am,
I
you're
know
you're
people.
against
I
you
know
are
people that
against
are
equity. You
homosexual
are
with
against
homosexuals. I
equity.
don't come against them. I just stand my ground on what I don't believe in. You can do what you want
What?
to do.
Hey, tell me exactly
God
what
forgives
Bible
you.
verse tells you that you need to press all of your values onto every other person in
I'm not
existence.
pressing anything on you.
Tell me
You
you
asked me
are.
why
You
am
are.
I
When you're
supporting
saying
Trump?
that, let me be clear, ma'am. I'm not
Why
trying to mute you
why did I
because I
vote the
don't.
way I voted? And
Okay,
when I
fine.
told you,
Here we go. I'm going to help you out with something, okay? So let's be
I don't
extremely
need your
clear
help. You
here.
asked me a
When you
question.
are
Why am I
saying that you
supporting
are against
Trump?
same-sex marriage being legalized, and by the way, again, you've already agreed with me
Well,
that
it's
there is
not
nothing
legalized.
within
You
the
can
letter of
do
the
what you
law that
want, but it
says that
doesn't
these
make it
couples
legal
or that
in
forces
the sight of
churches in
God.
order to perform these ceremonies. There's nothing within the letter of the law that says that churches
People
are
can do
forced
what they
to
want to
perform these
do.
ceremonies. So it's not even touching on
They
your
can
religious
do
belief.
what they
But you
want
said that
to
you can't
do, but
support the
it's not
Democratic
for me.
Party, aka Joe Biden,
I
also
can't
Kamala Harris,
support their
because she
policies
performed
or premises
a
that are in
same-sex
office. In fact,
union.
I've
You didn't even call it a
helped them
marriage. You
run for
said a
office. I
same-sex
like them
union.
as
By you
people.
saying that you
But
do not
they
want it to be
know that
legal, you
I
are
don't
therefore
agree with some of
pressing
the
your
policies
personal
that they
values and
do.
morals
But
onto
we're not
other
going to get
people. So
anything
now I would love
accomplished if
for
you're
you to tell
talking
me what
over
Bible
me.
verse says that you
Are you
should
trying
press
to
your
turn any
values and
Trump
your
voters to
morals on
your
other
way
people.
of thinking by talking over
What
them?
values, what Bible verse says that your values and morals need to be pressed upon other people to follow?
No one ever told you that.
What
Because God
Bible
says, I
verse
came
says
before
that
you
you
life
should
and
press
death.
your
He
values and
says,
morals
choose
onto other
life.
people?
If you don't choose life,
Got
that's
you.
your
So you don't.
prerogative. God does the same thing. He gives you options. I'm
Got
not
you.
pushing anything on
You
you.
are. If you are coming up here to say that you voted for Donald Trump because he's not in support of
Because of the
same-sex marriage,
policies,
because the
yes.
Democratic Party is again
Pretty
voted
much.
made same-sex
Not
marriage
all
legal,
Democrats,
and then
because
you
I
said
have
that
friends that are
specifically you
Democrats.
couldn't vote for Kamala Harris because she performed a marriage union for a same-sex couple that
Yeah,
goes against it,
that's
then
true.
you are
But that's not what
saying
I
that
agree
your
with.
values are above everyone else. So I would like you to tell me
Well, it's the same as
what biblical verse says that all of your values should be pressed upon another person, or that your values are above anyone else's values? Tell me.
I never told you to press anything. I told you what I believe and what I stand on. You can do
No,
what you want,
you don't know your own
but I don't have to
Bible.
support it.
You
I don't
just
have to support what you do. That's where you thinking I'm pressing you. No, do what you
you
want to
are.
do. I'm doing what I want to do. You ask me why am I supporting,
Yeah,
and I'm
you're
telling
just
you
not
why.
for equity or equality. That's what it sounds like to
I'm very
me.
much for equity and equality. God is too. That's why He gives you a
Okay. How
choice.
did you feel about Donald Trump doing away with DEI?
DEI. I don't have a problem with it.
You don't have a problem with it. Can you
But
tell
if
me
you're
what the
not
acronym
qualified
is?
for a job,
No, no,
why
no, no,
should
no.
you
Let me try
hire
this. Let me
for it?
try this. What is DEIA? What are the letters in that acronym? You know what, Kitty Marie? You are correct. She did say that. She did say that. Now she's teacupped. Shh, they don't know the words. She's got to Google it. It's okay if she wants to Google it. Thanks for calling the stream. Are you there?
Hello? Yeah, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How old are you?
25.
Ran away. Did you vote for Trump?
No, but I would like to address a couple people because I know you have some people watching who have voted for Trump. And me personally, I fucked with Trump so heavy back then, and I would like to explain why they're so dense. Because I was there. Luckily, though, I did not vote. Am I able to do this? I will do whatever you would allow.
If you wait until later in the middle of the month, I'm probably going to do a friendly only live, but I do appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. I'd love to.
All right, thanks. Don't forget to subscribe. Yeah. No, I asked her a direct question, and she didn't have an answer for it, and she just went silent. Hey, Ryan. Thanks for calling the stream. Are you there?
Hello?
Hi, how old are you?
18?
Did you vote for Trump?
Yes.
Do you still support him?
Yes.
What year were you born?
I was born in 2005.
Nope, you wouldn't be 18 then. Thanks for calling the stream. Are you there?
Fucking bum ass nigger, bitch ass.
Very mature. Yeah, I know, Cloud. They just never get it. Thanks for calling the stream. Are you there?
Yes, I am.
How old are you?
54.
Did you vote for Trump?
I did.
Okay. Do you still support him?
Well, before I answer that, it's kind of weird. You're going to think it's kind of strange. I don't like him and I don't support him, but if he were to legally, I know it's illegal, but let's say they do some sort of prank and he could run again, I would vote for him again.
That doesn't even track.
Pardon?
I don't like him. I don't really support him. But if he were to run for president again, I would vote for him if it was legal.
Correct.
So then you support him.
No, I don't support the Democrats anymore. My entire life, I was a far left Democrat. And when I'm saying far left, remember, I was born in 72, so it was a lot different with the left then to what it is now. My hero was Huey P. Newton. Do you know who Huey P. Newton was?
No.
Okay. He is one of the individuals that started the Black Panther Party. And while they believed in a lot of somewhat socialism, back then socialism was a lot different than what it is considered now with what they were trying to do, which if you look it up, the Mumford Act, which was passed in 67, California, is the reason why we have gun laws today, and it was passed by the Republicans to go against the Black Panthers. Reason why is because the Black Panthers were more armed than the police, and they didn't use it against the police. They were using it to protect the Black communities. Reason why is because police officers would go in there and just randomly beat people, women, children, blah, 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 blah. So the Black Panthers had basically AK-47s back at the time to basically support their community and protect the community from law enforcement. I moved away from the Democrat Party because they started acting more like children and following the stupid things that the Republicans did back in the 80s and the 90s. Now, I know, first of all, I give you a lot of credit. I love your spirit. I love your drive. Just an observation with the old lady that you just spoke with, kind of overruled her with your thoughts, and that's part of the reason why I left Democrats. My friends that are Democrats, if we're talking about something that I support that they don't support, they just try to overrule the conversation and don't let people talk. They don't listen and respect other people's point of views. That's part of the other reason, because, you know, certain things I agree with. I agree with abortion. I think it should be legal. It is a woman's body. My personal opinion, they should have medical people that can determine if the woman, you know, let's just pretend, has 4 kids already, is married, has an issue, is pregnant, whether or not she wants to have the abortion. Yes, she should do it immediately because it impacts her health. It's got nothing to do with politics. That's between the husband and the wife. And if they're not married, I do believe that the father should have some say in it, not 50%, but a good percentage, because as soon as that kid comes out, they're responsible. So give them some sort of say in the abortion part, because I do think that they should have it. So I don't agree with a lot of what the Republicans are doing, but what I truly dislike what the Democrats are doing, especially, is with the money. So as an example, I actually support Putin more than I support Ukraine. I don't agree with what the Democrats have done in the past. I don't know your knowledge with Ukraine. I had none when it was first going on, and started watching a lot of documentaries and reading a lot of stuff to get an understanding. And the Democrats actually forced the situation that we are in now between between Ukraine and between Russia, by one simple thing that we did, that we agreed to never do, which was to go 1 inch past the Berlin Wall. And that's the first thing that we did.
Can you tell me, I just want to know, can you tell me or point me in the direction of a signed document that said we weren't going to go 1 inch past the Berlin Wall?
It was a handshake agreement, and back in the day, in the 80s,
okay.
when that stuff was going on.
And what did
those things were done
Gorbachev
by
say?
respect.
What did Gorbachev say about that agreement?
That you could not go 1 inch past the wall.
No,
That's
what did
Reagan
Gorbachev
agreed.
say specifically about that agreement?
In regard to what? Going past it and what happens?
No, so what Gorbachev said, right, because he came out after, well, before even Putin invaded, Gorbachev came out and said that the agreement was only specific to East Germany and it had nothing else to do with going past it, because Gorbachev was the one that supposedly had that handshake agreement, that it was only specific to the reunification of East and West Germany. Right? So 1 inch past the Berlin Wall was actually not a thing. If you want to hear about it from someone, then you should listen to Gorbachev, who was the president at the time that would have had this agreement. Also, how does the Secretary of State have, even then, like, the Secretary of State has the power to tell the president what to do in regards to that? Like, does the Secretary of State have the power to make an agreement without the president's know-ahead, like knowledge?
Well, let's stay with the first thing that you said. So 1 inch to the east past the wall of Germany. Is Ukraine 1 inch, more than 1 inch past the east to
Gorbachev? What did I say specifically that Gorbachev said?
Just answer the question. Yes or no. Is
That's not in relation to what I said. What did I say that Gorbachev, he was very clear on what the agreement.
No jurisdiction past 1 inch past the wall.
That's not what he said. No, that's what you said. That's not what I said. What I specifically told you is what Gorbachev actually came out and said was that the agreement was only specific to the reunification of East and West Germany. That was it.
Nope, talked about NATO going past there, and that's what they did.
No, he didn't.
Want.
Okay, so let me ask you this.
Did.
Have you ever heard of the NATO-Russia Founding Act?
No.
Never heard of the NATO-Russia Founding Act of
no,
19...
I'm going to act stupid because I want to hear
Cool.
what you say. I hadn't heard nothing. Please explain it. What does it say?
Yeah. So the NATO-Russia Founding Act is actually just talking about how a council will function between NATO and Russia in future meetings, policy defenses, and things like that, right? They were talking about keeping peace, the prevention of nuclear weapons across the world, Russia not selling them, and everything like that. But there's one really, really, really important thing about the NATO-Russia Founding Act. And I'm going to put it on the screen.
Can I ask you a question before you continue? Did Russia ever try to join NATO?
No.
They didn't.
No. They just demanded that they be allowed to join. Yeah, this stuff is all readily available. Even Gorbachev said it. Like, you want to quote something that Gorbachev supposedly did in your opinion, but you're also wrong on what he actually said about it. He was very specific that it was only about the reunification of Germany and about the east side of Germany. It had nothing to do with Poland, with Ukraine, Latvia, Lithuania, Estonia, Belarus. None of the other countries on the other side of Germany had anything to do with this agreement. And here's how we know, okay? So you have the NATO-Russia Founding Act of 1997, right? This is directly from the U.S. Department of State's website. Signed on it, like it was released for everyone's public viewing on May 15th, 1997. The act itself was signed on May 14th, 1997. And at the very bottom of this act, it says implicitly, the act has no impact on NATO enlargement. That process is proceeding on schedule. NATO leaders at the Madrid summit in July will extend invitations to the first countries to begin accession talks. Those countries admitted will have the full rights and responsibilities of alliance membership, and the door to membership will remain open to all emerging European democracies. This was also an agreement that was signed by a Russian president. I know, willy-nilly. He didn't. Okay, well, give me 1 second, TikTok. Just a friendly reminder over on YouTube and on, specifically on YouTube, we do have super chats and memberships available. If you do send a super chat, I do address it and put it up on the screen. I'm not able to always read comments because I'm in the middle of a conversation with somebody. And on Twitch, I'm still new there and I'm trying to keep up with all of your comments. It's just a lot to read, and I do apologize if I'm not able to get to all of them. Back over on TikTok now, if you guys can go ahead and get us up to 50,000 likes in the next 8 minutes, I would greatly appreciate that. You guys are doing pretty good so far. And don't forget to hit the red button up at the top of the screen. I'm not sure what's happening, Teddy. All right. I broke somebody. Thanks for calling the stream. Are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
How old are you?
I am 48.
You're awesome.
Did you vote for Trump?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you still support him?
Yes, ma'am.
Fantastic. And yes, Cloud, exactly. And really quickly, I'm just going to address two things, and then we'll go ahead and go into your conversation. Thank you, Code, for, I'll have to look up what currency that is, but thank you for the $2.99. And thank you, Ecto, for the $1.99. Said, you're my spirit animal. I appreciate that. Okay, caller, what is the main reason that you still support Trump?
Well, I support the majority of his policies that he ran on. I'm for a change in our border policies. I like a strong military. I don't really like seeing what's going on in the world today with Gaza, Israel, Russia, Ukraine.
Oh, I'm sorry. I wasn't sure if that was the end of your sentence, so I was waiting. Thank you, Threac, for that one. I didn't know that. Are you still there?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Cool. So
I
like,
gotta. I'm gonna pause. I gotta pause your stream because I'm lagging. I apologize.
yeah, it's better just to take it down.
Yep. Got you. All right.
All right. Cool. Okay. So, what was I gonna ask? All right. So I do agree with basically everyone that our immigration. So, actually, let me rephrase this a little bit. I have a different belief than other people that I think that at the start of it, our immigration laws themselves need to be changed, updated, and redone at the top, right? Just putting, I agree with us hiring more CBP officers. I think that's good. But just hiring them and putting them on the border, I don't think that's going to fix the root cause of the issue. And that is that our immigration laws need updated. That's the basic root cause of an immigration issue that everyone seems to say that we have.
Okay, I understand that, but
Yeah.
you do understand that there's an influx at that border that has to stop because
I disagree. We have
Okay.
a labor shortage within our country, and we can see that, right? So at least in June, we had 7.7 million jobs available, and we had a 4.21% unemployment rate. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics that puts out these numbers, right, that out of that 4.2%, that made up 7.2 million available workers within our country, but with only 7.7 million jobs available. So that leaves us a short gap of now 500 million jobs. Sorry, not 500 million. 5 million jobs to make up for, which we don't have the population or the workforce to do so.
Okay, yes, ma'am. That's a great point. So if we relax our policies on legal immigration, then maybe that would be a solution. But illegal immigration is still something we have to battle with.
That's going to be an ongoing battle regardless, right? Because illegal
Sure.
means that from the start of it, that they came in through a non-port of entry and were not encountered or seen by CBP or the National Guard, right? And they not only were they missed by our side of the border, but they were also missed by the Mexican military that's on the other side, correct?
Well, yeah, I mean, illegal's illegal. So, yes.
Yeah. So that means it was missed on both ends, which is the inherent problem, right? And this is also why, like, I don't know what state you're in. It's not important for you to tell me. But, for example, Greg Abbott, the governor of Texas, actually stopped funding the border wall himself because he said that the wall doesn't do enough, it doesn't do anything. And that the best way to actually control it would be for people to be there and with smart wall technology.
Okay. Yeah,
like New Mexico is now using drones that were paid for by the agreement that was brokered under the last administration with the Mexican government.
Yeah, I mean, we I guess there was a lot of it constructed, but there was a lot of it that was promised that wasn't constructed.
A lot of it just wasn't constructed. So under his very first term, he only built 52 new miles of border wall and repaired 500. Just like, I think it was 492 to be exact, of how many miles that he repaired of the border wall. And so then by an act of Congress in the previous administration, they sold all of the expiring parts that were left to build or fund the wall because they were already rusted and it was no longer usable, would have had to been replaced shortly after it ever being put up.
Okay, but so the original Trump administration repaired let's just say 500 miles and built an additional 50, and then the past administration did absolutely nothing.
Right, they weren't able to because that required an act of Congress. Because even then, the funds that were even used to build the wall as it was misappropriated. Giddy up. From already, like, because Congress is the one that allocates the money, right?
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
They're the ones that signed the bill and put it in place. It was misappropriated from direct DoD funding that was supposed to go to bases across the country. And we already know that a lot of that money that was already misappropriated was in fact embezzled by Steve Bannon, who then received a pardon after he embezzled money from the wall's funding. There are multiple reasons why it didn't actually end up getting built as much as it could have or should have within that administration. And then the reason why they didn't is because out of the 10 bills that were introduced into Congress under the last 4 years, the last administration, just about the border, they were all voted down.
Okay. Well, just as a counterpoint, why did the previous administration literally just undo everything that just opened the border to a flood of illegal immigrants?
What specifically was undone?
Well, there was no well, like I said, if the money wasn't appropriated to continue the construction of the barrier, but there was zero enforcement.
There was enforcement. That's not true.
Today. Let's say unlike we're seeing today.
That's still
today
not true.
You're seeing a lot of ICE enforcement where you didn't see that.
ICE is for within, anywhere within the country over 100 miles from either border, south or the northern border. That's what ICE is for. When it's within 100 miles, that's CBP's job to apprehend people. That's literally a part of the agency's
so Los Angeles,
bylaws.
for example.
Right.
Los Angeles
but I want to address
a perfect place.
I want to address something with you real quick.
Okay.
The agency standards, the policies have not changed, right? Joe Biden and his administration didn't undo anything that was in place from Donald Trump. The only thing that was technically undone was when SCOTUS ended Title 42, which put us right back into being under Title 8, which actually managed the border, right? Because that's the law that we've been under for a long time. Title 42 was the C-19 crisis. The only other policy that was also undone, which was ended by SCOTUS, again, was Remain in Mexico. And the reason why that was undone is because it created a humanitarian crisis within Mexico for the immigrants that were actually legal asylum seekers. So it only affected legal immigrants, right? 65,000 people were required to stay within Mexico, right? And they weren't from there. They didn't belong there. None of them were Mexican residents. And over 3,000 women and children were victims of rape, schmurder, sex trafficking just from those 65,000 individuals. It only affected a very small number, right? 65,000 is a very small number. And they were all legal immigrants.
In Mexico, correct?
But it was created because of something that the United States did. We are directly responsible for that crisis, which is it created a humanitarian crisis that the United States was going to be globally sued over because it was our policy that was implemented. So SCOTUS is the one that overturned it.
I hear what you're saying, and I appreciate your point of view, but I don't understand how we created that influx coming up trying to infiltrate our country.
That doesn't even fall under the definition of infiltrate, for one. But so here's what it is. It was a law. Stay in Mexico, remain in Mexico was a law that was, or an executive order written into place and signed by Donald Trump. The United States Supreme Court, which has a 6-3 conservative majority, voted that it could be ended because of the humanitarian crisis that it caused. that because of Donald Trump being the one that enacted that executive order, and it only affected legal immigrants, legal asylum seekers. So this is what you were preaching for, right? Legal immigration. Legal asylum seekers,
okay.
and created a humanitarian
please,
crisis because they were not
please
from
define
Mexico.
asylum seekers for me. Please educate me. What is, when you want to bring up asylum seekers, I would like you to educate me. What is an asylum seeker? What is
Someone
that
they could be escaping, for example, political prosecution or persecution within their original country. They could be escaping religious prosecution from their original country. So let's say someone that is Christian from Iran, right? So Christian from Iran, they're primarily a Muslim country, and they're being persecuted within there for practicing Christianity. So now they fled here, right? Because asylum seekers can be from anywhere within the world, right? For many different reasons. But those are just the two off the top of my head that I can think of. If you want, I can pull up the asylum law and give you the exact things that they're allowed to claim it under.
No, that's fair.
Okay.
I mean, I understand that. And what's difficult for me to understand is why we are the open border country in the world.
Would you like my hypothetical on this?
Sure.
I think the primary reason why we saw such an influx and such a crisis at the southern border is because we had mass media telling everyone that we, in fact, had an open border, even though our vice president and our Congress members went out on national television and said, don't come here, right? Kamala Harris literally went out on national television and told them, do not come here. Do not come to the United States. Do not make that travel here. Do not make that trek. She said that very early on in her vice presidency. I think it was March of 2021. Said it very early on. Stop coming here. It's not time to come here, right? But instead, the mass media on both sides, unfortunately, were perpetuating the issue, saying that we had an open border, open border, open border, open border, open border. So when you hear this in all parts of the world, people are going to think, well, they're just going to let me in. And I think that negatively impacted the United States by our public media saying that we have this issue that really wasn't an issue at the time. Not as big as they were making it out to be, by just continuing to push and push and push, saying that it was wide open. There was nothing that you can point to in an executive order or an act of Congress, legislative act, that says that they ever open our borders, because they didn't. Not even an executive order did.
I can't argue with you on that. It just happened.
I honestly think that, unfortunately, the media played a huge role in it. And again, it was all sides of media, right? It wasn't just Fox News. It was also CNN, MSNBC, all of the big names on both sides that were just pushing it out there. Yeah. And it doesn't help when that's all we hear. And then that also explains exactly why everyone also believes that we had this open border. Which we didn't, because they were still following the same laws. Go ahead. Yeah, I'm sorry.
I appreciate the conversation. I appreciate you very much. Thank you for the cordial debate. Is there another topic that you would like to discuss?
I mean, what's your next point that you voted for him on, I guess?
Okay. Okay, so we're back on the Trump thing. I like the fact that, well, I think you spoke on this earlier, that the deconstruction of DEI, and I've never been a fan of that. So I would like to talk about that maybe a little bit with you.
What is the original acronym for DEI, if you happen to know?
Diversity, equity, and inclusion.
No, there's a letter missing at the end. There's one more word.
It's only DEI.
It's not. Even within the executive order, it's listed the full acronym. It's
Well, then,
honestly okay if you don't know, because a lot of people didn't.
you will have to educate me
Yeah.
on that. Then.
It's accessibility.
Okay.
So it's actually
Well, I'm all
DEIA.
about like an ADA Act for
Mm-hmm.
accessibility, but
Yeah. So here's my thing, right? You know the acronym, okay? What is the opposite of diversity?
singularity.
Yes, singularity. What would be the opposite of equality or equity? Sorry.
What would be the opposite of equality?
So the acronym is equity. That was my bad.
Equity.
It would be inequity.
Well, yeah, okay.
No, it's fine.
Easy enough.
What would
Yeah.
be the opposite of inclusion?
Non-occlusion.
Exclusion.
Exclude. You're right.
Yep. And then
But
what would the opposite be of
no, see,
accessibility?
that's not, ma'am. That's not fair.
No,
Because
I'm
I
just.
think everybody in this country has the same rights.
We don't.
We do. What rights does someone else have that I don't?
Honestly, women don't have a right to their own bodily autonomy within this country. We're not treated as equals. There are some states that are trying to roll back a woman's ability to divorce. They're trying to roll back on no-fault divorce, like specifically states like Texas.
You're awesome.
And we also have where...
That is a whole different topic, and we can get into that topic maybe in a minute. But I don't believe that anyone in this country has less rights than someone else. I really don't.
They
Other
still
than
do.
illegals, other than illegals, they don't have the same civil rights that a citizen has.
They actually do, but no, women have far less rights than men, and I know it's not something that people really still. Right, I'm explaining it to you.
Okay.
So again, there are states that are introducing and trying to pass, like actively voting on it now, to take away no-fault divorce. To limit a woman's ability to obtain a firearm if she has a restraining order out against somebody. A lot of people forget that when you have a restraining order out, that there are some states that won't sell you a gun, and this is red and blue states. It's not just one party or another. Women don't have access to birth control in a lot of states because of the overturning of Roe v. Wade, which has negatively impacted and caused trigger laws to go into effect. And so, therefore, there are women that aren't able to obtain the very necessary medical prescriptions or medication that is used for a myriad of things. So, for example, hormonal birth control, especially the one taken by mouth, can be used to regulate the heart. It can be used in placement of a beta blocker. It also is used for women with endometriosis. There was a woman in Tennessee that actually was pregnant and was denied prenatal care within Tennessee because of the laws, because she wasn't married. Women do not have the same rights. And there are some states like Pennsylvania where a woman can't even obtain a hysterectomy before she's 35 without either her husband's permission or her next of kin male's permission in the family. Women do not have the same rights within this country, sir. This is a fact. But nobody can tell you as a man when you can have or obtain a vasectomy anywhere in the 50 states or the District of Columbia.
Okay. So this is transitioned to a little bit of a abortion rights.
No,
discussion.
This is women's rights. I very specifically talked about birth control, hysterectomy. There are women that have uterine cancer that can't obtain a hysterectomy within this country because, again, they might want another kid and they're not over the age of 35. There's a woman that was denied prenatal care in the state of Tennessee because she wasn't married. Women have to agree to donate their frozen embryos in states like Tennessee and Arkansas because they're no longer able to have frozen embryos destroyed. So they have to, because they're not going to use it, they're no longer of childbearing age, so now they have to donate those frozen embryos. We also have a gender wage gap within this country that's been proven. It's statistics released by the Bureau of Labor Statistics, Harvard in their business study, Yale in their business study that they do. We also have a pay disparity between races that we also see. So we have these things, well, they're not treated equally. No, there is no equity to be found across all genders, all races within this country.
Okay. I hear what you're saying.
6 years ago, there was a representative from my state that literally went on TV, giddy up, talking about, we can talk about this for a moment, instead of referring to women being pregnant, he specifically said the host body. Every single time he talked, he said the host body, and was even called out by the interviewer and asked, like, do you mean women? Because you're saying host, not even giving us a thing, right? And then you have the case of Adriana Smith in Georgia that was kept on life support because she was declared brain dead when she was only 9 weeks pregnant, which was right past their 6-week abortion ban. And they kept her on life support until they hit 26 weeks of viability. And then they basically performed an autopsy on a corpse in order to remove her body. Or to remove her son that the hospital named Chance, right? She had a do not resuscitate order. Not only did she have a DNR in place, it would happen at her place of work where she worked as a nurse. Women do not have the same rights in this country, sir. Women are being kept on life support to support a fetus, which is what caused her brain death because it was throwing clots in her body.
These are okay. Yes, ma'am. These are kind of one in a million.
They're not
instances, but
they're not. You can say that, but they're not. The fact is, like, if we just have one person speaking out about it, that means it's going to happen again, or that it has the very clear potential of happening again.
But I also think that abortion is a form of birth control that's being used.
It's not. What is the purpose of birth control?
To end human life.
No, it's not. That's not the purpose of birth control.
Well,
it's within the name.
If you have birth control as in condoms, or you have you're on the pill, so you're not going to get pregnant, but once you get pregnant,
what is the purpose? Let's just try this again. What is the purpose of birth control?
To prevent. Let's put it that. To prevent.
Correct. To prevent pregnancy. Birth. No, correct. It's to prevent pregnancy. Okay. Giddy up.
Yes, ma'am.
So now the medical definition of an abortion is the termination of a pregnancy. Okay. So here's why I'm going to tell you that it's not.
Not be birth control?
It's not, because birth control is used to prevent pregnancy. If you are already pregnant, you can no longer prevent pregnancy.
So then you've taken the other human's life out of the equation.
It's not another human. It has the potential for life, and it has its own unique set of DNA. But until it's at the point of viability, up until that point of viability, it is always just the potential for human life. Because 100% of 100%. Can you
define that for me?
Give me a second. 100% of all pregnancies are dangerous to women.
Sure, yeah.
They always have the ability to go wrong. So let me ask you this real quick, and then I'll circle back to your question. When do you consider it life?
Honestly, I feel at conception.
Okay. 30 to 50% of all fertilized embryos, which is at conception, do never implants. So 30 to 50% of all like fertilized eggs never even make it to the first stage, which is why I can never even consider it a life at conception, because almost half of them never actually make it past that stage, which is exactly why women have periods and they ovulate, because the egg didn't implant. Because women don't just skip, like, their periods don't come typically, if the egg actually implants, right? So as far as
this is a
for
great
me,
conversation.
you're fine. For me to like what I consider life. So it has, again, it's the start of cellular life, is what you can consider it at conception and implantation. You can consider it the start of cellular human life. But until it actually has the capacity, the ability, in my opinion, to live outside the womb on its own, it always is just a potential. Because at any point prior to that point of viability, it can unalive on its own or naturally, and also unalive its host. And I hate saying that, but unalive the human being carrying it. I put more value on the human being that is carrying that unborn fetus, specifically because they already are here and they are already fulfilling their life. We can make it an argument of sentience if that's what you need, but I don't like making that argument either. It's the fact that that woman is always going to have more value than the fetus inside of her up until the point of viability, because she's already here, she's already living. She could have 3 kids at home, could already be a mother, and if something goes wrong and she dies, not only do we lose out on the fetus, but we lost her, and then that whole family is now devastated. I just don't ever see the point of putting the potentiality for human life above the one that is already in existence, already here, already alive and living and being here on Earth.
I understand. I understand what you're saying, and I hear your point. I actually agree with you on many points there, but I still don't feel like abortion is and you corrected me on this already, a means of birth control, because like you said, it's not birth control. You're absolutely right.
It's also, I will just say this, it's also slightly insulting.
It's an after the fact way to, it's like a get out of jail free card.
No, it's
not. Because you didn't have a responsibility to, but so many people use it like that.
They don't.
And that's what disgusts me.
Here's why I'm going to tell you it doesn't. If you get at least like the last time prior to it being covered by all insurances, the last time I ever had to pay for birth control out of pocket when I didn't have insurance, and that was for a 90-day supply, that was $80, right? So for 90 days, $80. You can break that down. That's like almost $30 per month, right? So we can just say $25 a month, right? We'll just say $25 a month for birth control. The average cost... And a guy can
go to the store and buy a condom. Or you can abstain. It doesn't... I mean...
Oh, I'm going to help you out with this. The average cost of an abortion, and this is as an early abortion, is between $500 to $1,000. And this is even for the ones that are done within the first 6 weeks, right? It's $500 to $1,000 that's not covered under insurance. So that's an out-of-pocket expense. We all, it's already been proven that birth control fails, right?
But do you understand how cheap that is compared to, like, raising a human being till 18 years old?
But do you understand how demeaning it is to say that a woman would be using abortion as a method of birth control when you're just doing it on a cost-benefit analysis? Like $25 versus let's just say the average of $750.
A cost-benefit analysis.
No, I'm talking about just the operation. Nope, I'm not turning it into that. I'm telling you, you're dehumanizing women when you're saying that you're degrading women and what they hold for and the value that they give to society, right? Because everybody has value in society as long as they are alive.
No, ma'am. I'm not trying to do that at all.
But you
No,
are.
ma'am.
When you are
I'm
accusing
not.
a woman of using an abortion as a method of birth control, which has a significant cost differential between birth control, right? Because have you ever heard of stealthing?
No.
It's where a man removes a condom in the middle of sex. So
Okay.
you can preach
I
for
mean,
all
I
of these
can't help
things,
what-
but you also have to say, like, when people, the majority
That's a
of
huge
women.
what if.
No, that's not a what if. This has actually been tried and found in court that men have done this throughout history, throughout the time that condoms have
and
existed.
women have taken needles and poked holes in condoms. It's
Oh, no,
so
I'm
what?
not saying that it's just a man's thing, right? No one is ever saying that, right? I'm not saying that.
Okay.
In any way, shape, or form, am I saying that it's just on the man in this case? Because, yes, a woman can do that. Men can do it too. It's not hard. Anyone with a needle can poke a hole in a condom, unfortunately, right? But the majority of women that actually obtain an abortion, they already have a kid. So, and most of them are married. Out of that segment of people that already have a kid that are obtaining an abortion, they're already married. So what you're telling, because you said abstinence, right? You preach for abstinence. What you're telling is married couples shouldn't even have sex, shouldn't engage in sex, which I also think is crazy talk.
No, that's ridiculous. No, they have other options to.
Not everywhere.
If they're a married couple, they have options to not get pregnant anymore. That's
not everywhere. We've already went over this. There are some states where you can't even obtain birth control anymore. And hi, Olivia.
Well, like you just explained that the man can have a vasectomy, but a woman probably could not.
A man can have a vasectomy anywhere in the 50 states, but a lot of men refuse to even obtain one. So, like, if you want to bring up that, then what I would say, like, if women aren't able to have the access to abortion care, which just saves lives, by the way, it saves women's lives down the road. Like, we could have avoided Amber Nicole Thurman dying in Georgia, Candy Miller dying in Georgia, Kate Cox escaping Texas to go to Colorado to obtain an abortion because her fetus had a condition that made it non-viable or incompatible with life. You can avoid the cases of Amanda Zarowski, who wanted a child but now is no longer able to carry a child because her uterus was wrecked because it, again, was a fetus that was incompatible with life. Right? So she needed to obtain an abortion so she could actually keep her fertility. But because she lived in the state of Texas where it wasn't allowed, right, she had to escape. And by then it was already too late and it already ruined her fertility. You had another case of a woman in Tennessee where the same thing happened, where they very much wanted that pregnancy. And these are just, I'm sure, what you would call one-off stories, but this is happening across the country, specifically in red states where they're not able to have it. So not only are we demeaning the women that actually want to have kids with these laws that are being put in place, you're also not helping anyone that already has kids. So like Candy Miller and Amber Nicole Thurman were both mothers. They already had kids, right? And
yes,
they
died. This is a very good conversation. You have kind of opened my eyes to a few extra things that I will look into. That's very viable facts.
I'll say this. I'll say this when it comes to abortion. Roe v. Wade and Casey, the two cases that were overturned with the Dobbs decision, those were the compromise when it came to abortion, which is why 62% of America supported Roe v. Wade staying in place prior to it being overturned with the Dobbs decision, because it set the point, exactly what I said, the point of viability as determined by a doctor that would make that determination if a woman needed to end the pregnancy because of any kind of medical condition, any kind of issues with the fetus, right? Or if there was a fetal abnormality that occurs after the point of viability, because sometimes the genetic testing doesn't come through, because the earliest you can do it is between 18 to 20 weeks to see about if there's any abnormalities that aren't caught on an ultrasound. So those would fall past 21 weeks is the earliest point of viability in modern medicine. And And so that's the earliest point. So some of this stuff is caught at like 23 weeks. So Roe v. Wade and Casey, those were the compromises that made actual exceptions and protected women and the potential for life that they can carry in a uterus.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
I will look into that. You know what? This is a wonderful conversation. I like having debates like this where two humans can actually agree to disagree on certain things and just actually have a civil conversation about things. It's refreshing.
I mean, I don't like yelling at people. That's not what I'm up here to do. It does get more people in on TikTok because TikTok loves to likes animosity, but.
Well, and I didn't yell at you, and you didn't yell at me, and we just had a civil conversation. This is what, to me, this is what America is about. This is what we should be able to do, is have these types of conversations and come to, even if we can't come to resolutions, we can talk and we can have civil debates and conversations about things and see the point of view from the other side, and you can see the point of view from my side or the other side, and the divide in the country is really disgusting, and it's almost like a hardcore line, and I want to divide that. I really want to, I wanted to have a conversation with you tonight so I could have a better understanding of your point of view. And I wish some of my friends that are more left-leaning would have a conversation with me. And then we can discuss things. Even if we don't agree on them, we ought to be able to at least discuss them in a civil manner. And that's what I appreciate through this conversation tonight. So thank you very much.
Of course, man, not a problem. I don't know if you see, this is just so you know about the timestamp. If you want to go back and listen at any point, we are about an hour and 12 minutes into the stream, so that's about the timestamp that you can look at and then go back from, because that's at 38 minutes on the call. So if you want to go back and listen and then go back and research anything that on your own time that we just went over, highly encouraged.
Yeah, and I will. And like I said, I appreciate the conversation, and I'll probably just jump off the call so you can take someone else, and then I'll keep listening. But I mean, me and you spoke, so I know our conversation. So, but I may go back and still do some research on the stuff that we talked about. But thank you so much.
Not a problem. Thank you.
All right. Have a great night.
You too. Bye. All right, really quickly before I open back up the phone lines, I thought I saw this. Lion, no, that should be tomorrow at about this time tomorrow, in fact. That should be tomorrow. Josh and LJ are supposed to call me back tomorrow. We'll find out if they do. That's definitely... That'll be a fun conversation to have. Really quick TikTok. I'm going to mute you for a second. All right. And just a friendly reminder over on YouTube, if you do send a super chat, I will get to it. It might take me a moment, and I don't want to interrupt the phone call, especially when I'm having a decent conversation. If you send a super chat, it goes right up on the screen, just like this. Also, if you become a member, same thing. And then Twitch, we're running, trying to get same stuff going on from Twitch, and we'll get there. It's just, I'm very new on Twitch, so there we go. And I know that there was... I know I saw another super chat that came through, but it's not showing up. Why is it not showing up? Oh, it doesn't show me. Oh, Soy Boy sent the jewels again. Thank you. I could have swore someone else said.
You're awesome.
What do you mean you don't want Trump with Americans' pocketbook? I don't know what that means, if I'm being honest. All right, but we'll open this back up real quick. TikTok, let's go ahead and tap up to 100,000 likes. We're almost there, so let's get there in the next 5 minutes. Okay. Thanks for calling the stream. Are you there?
Oh, snap. Yeah, I am.
Okay. How old are you?
I'm 22.
Okay. Did you vote for Trump?
I most certainly did.
Do you still support him?
Well, I would say so, but I don't agree with some of the things he's been doing lately.
Okay. Well, let's just start with what's your main reason for still supporting Trump?
Yeah, so I guess one of the concerns I had about going back to the campaign was like, I think Harris really wanted to expand quote-unquote reproductive rights, which I very don't support. Also, I kind of agreed with his sort of policy platform, at least what he said he was going to do regarding, fixing the deficit, trying to put the country more for Americans first rather than not, those were some of the reasons I voted. Also cultural reasons, but that's maybe less important, I guess.
So why do you still support him exactly?
Yeah, well, one thing I support is that he's not expanding, like quote-unquote abortion rights, super pro-life. So I think if Harris had won, she would have tried to pass some policies that would have accelerated the murder of fetuses. So I mean that's.
Can you speak a little bit closer to your microphone? They're saying that they can't hear you very well.
Oh yeah, is this better?
Sounds better to me. I can hear you just fine, but I have headphones on, so.
Right. I mean, I do have a headset on as well. I don't know if maybe it's not working. I was saying that one of the reasons I still support him is that he's not trying to. He's okay with abortion being a states' right issue, which was one of my big reasons for voting for Trump. As insofar as the economic platform that he had promised, not too pleased with how that's going, but at the very least they made an effort to try and cut spending, so I think that's a plus. But it could have been done. I think it could have been handled better.
Gotcha. So what I'm going to say really quickly, and I'm not going to stay on this for very long. If you're against abortion, just don't have sex with a pro-choice woman and never have an abortion yourself, which sounds like, were you born with a uterus, sir?
No, I was not.
You were not born with a uterus, so that will never personally affect you in that regard. So, again, I'm just going to say just don't fuck a pro-choice woman. Only stick with somebody that's pro-life. Make sure you get that ahead of time before you sleep with somebody.
I mean, that's probably good advice to follow in general, but yeah. I mean, I guess it doesn't change really. We don't have to stay on this topic, and you were probably just talking about it.
I was, and just to be very clear is, if you even look at the Dobbs decision, it clearly says that the right to regulate abortion is returned to the people and their elected representatives. And unfortunately, in 26 states within this country, people do not have a voice on what they want to vote on in this country. So they're not able to have any say in the regulation of abortion. And that's just over half the country. Sir, what did I just say? Okay, we'll just read this. The authority to regulate abortion is returned to the people and their elected representatives, which means it goes in tandem. So because 26 states do not offer citizen-initiated ballot measures, so being able for the constituents to say, I want to vote on this, right? That means that the people are not having that say. They're not able to vote on it. And there are states like Texas that are saying they will never vote on abortion in my state. Specifically, the Attorney General in Texas said they will never vote on abortion in my state.
Okay, regardless of what they say, what's the truth about ballot measures? You said certain states don't have ballot measures for abortion.
20? No, at all. So when you're reading this here, this is a fallacy, right? Everybody wants to say it was returned to the states. It wasn't. It never was. Specifically, what the Supreme Court ruled was that it is the authority to regulate abortion is returned to the people and their elected representatives. Now, if it just said their elected representatives, then you could say that it was returned to the states, but it wasn't, okay? But because it says the people and, not or, and their elected representatives, but the right to have a voice in this country was stripped from them because there are no citizen-initiated ballot measures in 24 states. There are an additional 2 states that only have veto referendum, which means that they can only try to petition after a law is already in place to have a say and maybe vote on it in the next election, but there's literally zero guarantee that they will because a veto referendum can, in fact, be ignored in the 2 states that have it. So that means 26 states, which is right over half the country, did not give the people, the constituents, the very first part of this holding decision in the Dobbs case, a voice. So they did not have a voice.
The people elect their representatives who are constituents for them.
Okay, let's try this again. The authority to regulate abortion is returned to the people and their elected representatives. If it was just going to be in the hand of their elected representatives, then, sir, it would have just said their elected representatives. But because it said people, that's the part that you're missing. The people do not have a say in 26 states in this country on what laws they want to regulate them. They do not get to petition their lawmakers and say, I want to vote on this. Since 26 people and, sir, it's not or, it's and, which means they both have to have a hand in it. Do you understand that? Because the people do not have a hand in voting for that ballot measure.
That way? It's always been interpreted as you have access to constituents.
Yeah, but it says return to the people and their elected representatives. If it was just going to be about their constituents, if it was just going to be that, then it would have just said their elected representatives or the elected representatives in the state. But I have news for you. Literally, there is nowhere within the Dobbs decision that it actually says that it's returned to the states. It literally says that it's returned to the people and their elected representatives. The people portion has been cut out of this in 26 states. So in no way, shape, or form was it ever actually returned to the states, sir, in the way that it was actually intended by the Dobbs decision. You just don't understand it. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry?
You just don't understand it. So again, I'm just going to encourage you again to never sleep with a pro-choice woman. I'm going to encourage you again to never, I don't think you know what it means. I'm going to encourage you again to never sleep with a pro-choice woman and make sure that you understand what her values are up front. Make sure that she stands by pro-life. That should maybe be a first date question. It'll also help women out there in the world avoid you if they're also pro-choice, right? So be sure to ask on a very first date. On the very first date, I'm just going. It's not. If you want to make a moral claim, what are your morals based off of?
I usually base my morals off of sentience or the capacity for sentience.
No, where do you get your morals based from? Is it from your biblical beliefs or how you were raised? You're an atheist?
Yeah, in a lot of cases,
cool.
It's how I was
What is
raised.
the medical definition of abortion?
The medical definition? Is
yes.
it the removal of some kind of matter or inside of a woman? I'm not sure the medical definition.
No, literally it's the termination of a pregnancy. It doesn't say anything about murder. Now, if you're going to make a claim that it was murder, because you did make that claim earlier, now give me the legal definition of murder.
Is that the unlawful killing of a human being?
There's more. Don't leave out the last part.
What's the one? Premeditated?
With malice. So automatically, your claim that murdering fetuses or murdering babies, I think is what you actually said, falls apart because murder, with the legal definition, it's specifically leaving out the part of malice.
When we say murder, we're just talking about the
no, sir. It literally has.
Human life.
It literally has a very specific definition. When you're claiming it's murder, you're also making an appeal to legality, which is why I then get to bring up the legal.
No, I'm not.
You are. Because murder is a legal crime.
Works?
Is murder a legal crime? Is murder a crime? Is murder a crime? Is murder a crime?
Yes.
Or are you indicating or implying a crime when you're accusing someone of murder?
Not in this context, although in some states
so it's only specific to abortion that you can make a claim of a claim of murder. It's only in specific to
What
abortion.
I'm saying is that when I use the word murder in this context,
yes,
I'm referring
jocular,
to
malice,
unjustified
afterthought.
killing of a human life, which is colloquially how we use the term.
No. So murder is a crime. So when you're accusing someone of committing murder, you have to include the fact that it requires malice aforethought, which is a part of the legal definition, and therefore you are making an appeal to legality, and so this is where I argue it from. Let's be very clear. It's not a murder. It's not murder when there is no malice aforethought included in the fact of an abortion. Is somebody purposely getting pregnant? Is somebody purposely getting pregnant just to obtain an abortion, just to, let's say, punish a fetus? Absolutely not. That's not happening here. So therefore, it is not murder in any way, shape, or form. Does that fetus have a social security number at the moment of conception? Does the fetus have a social security number at the moment of conception?
No.
Okay. So then also it's not the unaliving of a human being because it does not have a social security number. It's not recognized specifically as a human being. According to United States law and according to the United States Constitution, you only have rights in this country at birth or at naturalization, according to the 14th Amendment of the United States Constitution.
And gave fetuses a social security number, would it then be murder? Like, I'm confused.
At that point, yes, you can make that claim as long as the law is also included to say that it's murder.
Okay, fine. If you're going to continue to, I'm not making a legal argument here. I think that's
you are. You just have a misunderstanding of how you think you aren't making a legal argument.
Just because a word means something in a legal context doesn't mean that that's how the word is being used. Like, words can be used in different contexts. That's how language works.
Well, even then, so it's still unlawful premeditated killing of one human being by another. That's another definition. So in which part is it premeditated when somebody wasn't intending to ever get pregnant in the first place 9 times out of 10? The majority of all pregnancies, the majority of all pregnancies are unintentional. 53% of all pregnancies, the 53% of all pregnancies are actually from people that are using birth control, one method of birth control. Out of that 53%, about 72% are actually using dual methods of birth control, meaning not only are they using the pill, that they're also using condoms. So therefore, again, it's not unintentional, nor is it. So, but again, let's be very clear. You said this, right? So again, the definition of murder is the unlawful, premeditated killing of one human being by another. So again, when I told you that the definition of murder immediately makes an appeal to legality in its own definition and you want to go against it, that's your problem, not mine. Again, even if you use it as a verb, kill someone unlawfully and with premeditation. It is not unlawful to have an abortion. And so when you have the word unlawful within the definition of murder, again, you're wrong using it. You can say you're using it colloquially, but you don't even know what that word means. I would almost guarantee it. You actually just don't have an understanding of what words mean. So when unlawful is within that definition, let's be very clear. You are then also making an appeal to legality and making a legal claim. You just don't understand that you're actually making a legal claim. So that's why I'm here to help you actually understand that you're making a legal claim, and the legal definition of murder says that it has to be with malice aforethought, which does not occur. Premeditation is not required with the legal definition of murder because there are at least 3 different kinds of murder charges that one can obtain, and then you also have an additional one of manslaughter. So again, you saying murder is incorrect in every way, shape, or form.
Okay, so if I say precedent and I don't mean it in the legal context, you're saying that any word that is used therefore is wrong? That's what you're saying.
No, that's not what I said. That's your misunderstanding.
I'm making an argument by analogy. I'm saying that we use
it's not analogous
in
either.
Everyday language all the time.
Okay, let's try this again. So again, this is from Oxford. Murder, noun, the unlawful premeditated killing of one human being by another. Verb, kill someone unlawfully with premeditation. So again, in both definitions doesn't say in a legal context. It just is giving a definition of murder. So when And the word unlawfully is within the definition of murder. We then also have to pull up the definition of murder in a legal context. And again, that definition of murder requires, again, malice afterthought. No one is maliciously ending their pregnancy or doing it willfully or intentionally. I think you just don't understand that, and it's no, you are so wrong in so many ways. Yeah, you didn't use the correct word.
I'm using the wrong word. It's a pointless debate.
No, words are important. It's not what I prefer, sir. This is your point, right? This is your point, and the reason why you voted for. This is your point, and the reason why you voted for and still support Donald Trump is because women are obtaining abortions in this country. But specifically, you first said women's rights, which is also just a wild take. You first said women's rights, which is all encompassing. You said women's reproductive rights, which is all encompassing. Women's reproductive rights includes their access to birth control, includes their right to receive cancer care if they have uterine cancer, fallopian, like any other cancer that goes on there. Can't think of all the parts right now, so just forgive me for that. You're denying their rights to, again, cancer care. You're denying the rights of a woman obtaining a hysterectomy or, let's say, sterilization. You're denying that right as well. Like you're when you said women's reproductive rights, you're denying them all rights to even see an OBGYN, which is also necessary, which I'm sure that's probably why you would support states like Tennessee. That's probably why you would support states like Tennessee denying a woman prenatal care simply because she wasn't married. I get it. It's okay.
I want to be able to abort.
Abortion is no, you didn't say that. You literally said women's reproductive health.
I know I said that. I was referring to abortion because when people say
so words no longer have meaning, right? Because I just explained to you that women's reproductive health is just an open that applies to all. That applies to IVF. That applies to IVF with when you're saying women's reproductive care. That applies to a woman obtaining a Pap smear to make sure that she doesn't have cancer or that she doesn't have STIs or STDs. That applies to women obtaining blood tests to make sure that she could even carry a baby or any other thing that could apply to the reproductive system. That applies to a woman obtaining a breast exam. So, like, when you can't just say women's reproductive health care, you can't just say it's murdering a child because it's not in any way, shape, or form. Words have meaning. If you don't understand that words have meaning, that's a you problem, not a me problem. These are important. And again, I'm going to urge you again to never sleep or fuck a pro-choice woman ever again in your life, because I guarantee you have. And then guess what? You'll automatically be solved that you'll never have an abortion. And I guarantee that, hey, for all the pro-choice women listening in on this live, if you hear this voice in real life, be sure to cover your drinks around him, because he's also probably just not a safe man. But I do hope you have a good night, man. And I encourage you to never reproduce. I have a couple of super chats to get through real quick. Words have meaning. You can't just say words. Yes, Leputian Prince? Yes, that chat is very annoying. I agree. Okay, sorry, there was a lot of ones here. And I still don't see that one that I could have swore I got. A1 Bravo, so you're saying no woman should do abortion? I don't think so, but I don't think you're against me either. Well, I think if a woman wants an abortion for whatever reason, but father wants the baby, then the abortion shouldn't be allowed. Here's my issue with that, Bravo. I don't inherently disagree with you, but if that is the case, then I would once again say that if a man wants a child, and absolutely wants a child, he needs to make sure that he is on the same basis or on the same playing field with that woman in regards to what her decisions are. Does she agree with being pro-choice? Yes? Then don't sleep with her if you even have an inkling of an idea that she might want to abort your baby. And if you are a man who's a woman said, I don't want to carry your baby to term and I would rather have an abortion, then I think that requires some internal thinking on the man's part. What did the man do wrong to potentially make her feel unsafe, that she no longer wants to carry the child with the man that literally ties her to him for the rest of her life? The rest of her life. The man needs to do internal thinking to understand what did he do to make her feel unsafe, right? And if a woman has a baby, the father should have the option not to be part of the baby and shouldn't have to pay child support. So bravo, once again, there are actual states within the country that don't require a man to pay child support and actually opt out of all fatherly obligations, right? But here's the biggest thing, and this is why I have a disagreement with this first part, with your middle chat, is specifically that every pregnancy, 100% of all pregnancies are dangerous to women 100% of the time. So when you're asking somebody to just carry that fetus to term, you're asking them, or requiring them in this case, to carry that fetus to term, you're asking for the woman to put her life in danger. So unless we're also providing child support from the moment of conception, then no, I absolutely disagree with you. And if you want a child so bad that you would want to, in this way, kind of force a woman to be having to carry that child to term, then get a surrogate. There are women that take money for that. And they have to get testing and they have to be healthy. Yes, Chris, I know. Fatal Attraction. Remember that movie. Oh, Apple, thank you. Thank you again for sending a sub. Arnold carried that's so funny. Okay. Giddy up. Let me reopen up these phone lines. And again, TikTok, let's get up to 150K likes real quick. We're doing great. Friendly reminder again on YouTube, send a super chat. It goes up on the screen. It might take me a moment, but I will get to your comments. I promise. I will get to it. Thanks for calling the stream. Are you there? Okay, how old are you?
Me?
Yes.
42.
Can you get closer to your mic?
I'm 42.
You
hear me now?
Nope, you still sound far away from your mic.
Okay, hold on. 1 second. I'm gonna switch my Bluetooth.
Sorry, guys. Fixed it.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you sound a little bit better. Did you vote for Trump?
For me? No, I don't vote for nobody.
I
hate politicians.
Agreed. They kind of suck. But I hope you have a good night, man. Thanks for calling the stream. Are you there? Thanks for calling the stream. Are you there? Okay. Thanks for calling the stream. Are you there?
Yeah, you just hanged up on me, so
yeah, you don't
why
vote.
I can't speak?
You don't vote. I don't speak to non-voters. Thanks for calling the stream. Are you there? Thanks for calling the stream. Are you there? Thanks for calling the stream. Are you there?
Hi, yeah, I'm here.
Okay, how old are you?
I'm 28.
Did you vote for Trump?
I did not vote for Trump, and what I'm gonna tell you is brief, but I feel like Trump is very much a very sinful individual. I feel like he has something to do with why the world is the way it is right now, and a lot of people are saying that Jesus is coming back and stuff like that. I feel like Trump is a Satanist mixed with his fascism. I don't really get into politics like that, but I do have something to say about him, you know. And I feel like he is the reason why the Antichrist has been is out right now. So
it's quite possible. I don't know enough about it, so I'm not going to speak on it, but I do appreciate you. I hope you have a good night. Thanks for calling the stream. Are you there?
Hello.
Hi, how old are you?
I am 20.
Did you vote for Trump?
Yeah. Yep. My first election.
Okay. Do you still support him?
Mostly.
Okay. And what year were you born?
2005.
Okay. Why do you still support Trump?
I feel like he's the better person compared to the Democrats to, like America first. I don't want us giving money to foreign countries.
Well, he's actively funding Israel and actively funding Ukraine, so that's a flop.
Yeah, but I feel like the Democrats take more of the AIPAC money. With the Jamal Bowman, George Latimer primary, the AIPAC money.
Is there any actual proof of that, or you just have that feeling? It's in your gut.
No, I mean if you look up the Wikipedia page for like the primary, George Latimer got all the AIPAC money.
Did you
know
look
what
at
I mean?
the sources at the bottom? I have no problem of you using Wikipedia as long as you actually looked at the sources and verified that what it is. Giddy up, because unfortunately, Wikipedia can be modified, so you have to go and look at the actual listing of their citations at the bottom of the page.
I just did surface level research. I'm not gonna lie.
Gotcha. Giddy up.
So yeah, I feel like he's better for the America first. I don't know. I felt like Kamala Harris was more, globalist. What I am concerned about though about Trump is he's supporting the gerrymandering in Texas. I don't like that.
Yeah, that's bad for everyone. Especially because it's only supposed to occur, like the district redistricting is only supposed to occur every census, which a full and complete census is performed every 10 years, and we're not quite there yet. So like the last maps were redrawn in 2021, and then were certified in 2022 across the country. So why are we updating the maps only 3 years?
Yeah, it doesn't seem like Texas has very strong laws on that kind of stuff.
No place really does, if we're being honest.
Do you think that the Democrat states should take apart their commissions to fight that or not?
I personally do not think so. But at the same time, I wouldn't discourage them from doing it either, because two can play at that game, and the Democratic Party fails at when they try to play it safe. So
Yeah, I think it would be a step backward. I don't think they should take apart what they've already accomplished in California and stuff. So you think that Trump is less America first than the Democrats are?
Yes. I guess it would. So, I mean, in my opinion, what America First would actually mean, yes, that would be true. I'm curious. Like, America First means different things to different people. So, what does it mean to you?
I would say just more money in America than going to other countries. Like, our people first.
Our people or agencies?
Oh, what's the difference?
Well, if it's just going to a federal agency that's not designed to actually help the American people, I would say that that's not very America first, and it's not designed to help the people within the country or the constituents within our country. And so then I would have an immediate problem with that.
Wait, what agency are you referring to?
Oh, specifically DHS is now like one of the most funded agencies across the world, if we're being honest. It's not even just here, it's across the world. They're one of the now most overfunded agencies across the world.
What's DHS? I'm not familiar with that.
Department of Homeland Security.
Oh yeah. Oh, like immigration. Is that what you mean?
Yep.
So do you support a strong border or not?
Yes, sir. We had border patrol just like we've always had.
Isn't it stronger under Trump?
In theory. So there are
What do you mean by in
two.
theory?
Yeah. So there are two hypotheticals that we can go down with this. So we can agree with the Donald Trump administration and say that indeed the border encounters are down, right? And we see that on the government website, which could imply that CBP is doing their job. Whereas it could also be the exact opposite, that the encounters being low could also imply that Customs and Border Protection are not doing their job. There are two sides to the coin. So when we actually had higher encounter numbers under the Biden administration, that showed and proved that they were doing their job because they were stopping individuals that they saw, and then so that counted as an encounter. So that means they stopped them on their process of coming across the border either through a non-port of entry or coming through a port of entry. All that means is now I have no idea what CBP is actually doing at the southern border. Are they actually stopping people from coming over? Is that really what's happening, or are they letting people through? We actually have no way of knowing.
They don't make a distinction between the two kinds of encounters?
No, sir. They literally just counting and count. They just, on CBP, all they keep track of on their website is encounters, apprehensions, and deportations. They don't even keep track of crossings, which is why it's a misnomer for anyone, any politician, to say that crossings are down or crossings are up.
So I think that I just feel like he's better, you know what I mean? I don't know.
Okay.
I just like, like feelings over facts, you know what I mean? I just feel like he's less in the deep state.
Donald Trump has become the deep state, sir.
Well, maybe a little bit more recently with the Epstein files. I don't know about all
Even
that.
from the very beginning of his administration. And real quick, TikTok, let's get up to 150,000 likes in the next 4 minutes.
You think he's always been in the deep state?
At least since this current administration, yes, sir. Even then, within his first administration, he had probably one of the least successful presidencies that we've ever seen. He was voted to be in the bottom 3 of all presidents and throughout history, ranked by 147 historians, to be considered the worst president in the bottom 3 of all the presidents throughout history, just from his first term, right? And then when he came in immediately, and he started only going after putting in loyalists within his cabinetry, that was a telling thing too. That's why I would also say he became the deep state. If you need to line your hallways, in this case, with loyalists who only answer to you, then you are in fact becoming the deep state. And you are trying to be an authoritarian ruler.
Isn't it a normal thing to want to be surrounded by people who support you?
Not in politics, sir. Not to actually say that you want partisan loyalists. Like, to actually use that word, that's a problem. Let me ask you this. Is Donald Trump a part of Project 2025?
Not that I'm aware of.
Not that you're aware of. Okay.
He said he doesn't support it, right?
And I mean, I can say that I support I can say that the flying spaghetti monster exists. So I mean, you can say, people can say things, whatever they wanted to say. Do you know who Russell Vought is?
I have no idea.
He was appointed by Donald Trump to the Office of Management and Budget, so OMB, just this election year. Russell Vought is one of the main contributors and writers of Project 2025, directly aligned with the Heritage Foundation. Now, if we look at other people that he's also appointed since just in this presidency, we also have Peter Navarro. Are you familiar with that name?
I'm familiar with the last name. Is he related to the Miss Navarro, Anna Navarro?
I'm not sure.
Something like that.
Not sure, but he's actually on his council team. We have Mora Namdar, who is the senior official for Bureau of Eastern Affairs, appointed by Donald Trump. We have Jonathan Berry, who's actually under current nomination review by Congress. And if we look at everyone from his first administration who also contributed to writing Project 2025, we have Ben Carson, who was HUD, Housing and Urban Development. We have Brooks Tucker, who was Chief of Staff for the VA, appointed by Donald Trump. We have Roger Servino, who is the Department of Health and Human Services, the current position that RFK has. William Pendley, Bureau of Land Management. We have Christopher Miller, who actually held five separate positions within Donald Trump's first presidency. We also have Bernard McName, who was a commissioner of the FERC, Dennis Kirk, who is OPM, Office of Personnel Management, Gene Hamilton, who was over DOJ and DHS, so he had two separate positions, Thomas Gilman, Assistant of Secretary of Commerce, Rick Dearman, Deputy Secretary of Security, Ken Kuselany, USCIS, Brendan Carr, William Walton, Paul Winfrey. All of these were individuals who wrote and contributed to Project 2025 that are currently serving with Donald Trump or previously served in Donald Trump's first administration.
Well, what if that's just a coincidence?
Is it also a coincidence that over 40% of Project 2025 has already been implemented within the United States?
Well, I'm sure he supports some of it, but probably not all of it.
Let me see where we're at right now. We're at 46% on what has already been implemented from Project 2025 in this presidency. So you're just going to write it off as a coincidence. Is it a coincidence every day that I wake up after the sun rises?
Probably not.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I don't know any of those people that you mentioned, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with them.
Okay. Well, again, 46% Project 2025. He is literally the deep state right now.
Do you mind if I shift the conversation back to the abortion?
Yep, I mind a lot. I've talked enough about that. If you're against
sorry.
abortion, and you're a man, so somebody that was born without a uterus, don't fuck a pro-choice woman. That is my solution for you.
No, I was just gonna ask if you thought it was reasonable to say that the woman should check with the man on his views before the relationship, if that makes sense.
Yes, a woman can ask, but that doesn't guarantee that a man will tell the truth, because most men, this has also been studied, lie on their dating profiles and say that they're looking for a relationship and then go out on dates and tell women that they're looking for a long-term relationship when they only want one-night stands, or they only want to get it in there to get their dick wet. This has also been studied. So, yeah, I think it should be both parts should ask. But the man is likely to lie.
Mm-hmm. Well, personally, I'm not in favor of a ban. I don't like it, but I don't think you should force people to do what they want. And as far as I'm aware, I don't think Trump supports a ban either, right?
I don't know. His views on abortion changed about 20 different times just in the 2024 election cycle. So I don't know what his stance is.
Well, I voted for him because he said that he didn't support an outright ban. He wanted to send it to the states or something like that.
which is a misnomer because that's not true. And I am going to, I will say this. Someone in the comments said it's your job to make sure she's anti-choice or pro-life or whatever they want to call themselves when they're this way. And here's why. What is needed for a egg to be fertilized?
That would be the sperm, right?
Correct. And sperm only come
or
from...
the egg.
No, I said what
A
was
man.
needed for sperm to be fertilized. So, or not sperm, sorry,
That
for an
would
egg to
come
be
from the
fertilized.
man,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Sperm only comes from a man's testicles. I don't really know if I can say that. So, that being the case, 100% of all unwanted or unplanned pregnancies occur because of men. So, therefore, the onus is on men.
Okay. So, hold on, let me think. Okay. So, I think that Trump, I don't know, I just feel like he's outside of the swamp. I mean, he's kind of become the swamp, but I feel like he's just the
He actually
better
filled
of
the
the two
swamp
parties.
now. He's not in any way, shape, or form. Honestly, my dog in the background. Hold on, I gotta move the mic. My Australian Shepherd would have made a better president than Donald Trump.
So if you were the decider and you wanted to take him out of office, would you?
Absolutely not. CIA, I would never even think about doing that act.
No, I meant like remove him from all an actual impeachment, not like the fake stuff they've done.
Sorry, we gotta be really careful with words because
yeah, I didn't mean like that.
Just saying. I think that Donald Trump should be impeached. I also think that J.D. Vance should not be allowed to hold the office of presidency either because he also has questionable opinions as well. And he was also a highly ineffective senator and highly unqualified to be the vice president of the United States. Should have never been selected. Donald Trump could have made a lot of different choices. I think that the only person that's actually qualified within the line of succession that's up near the top would be, unfortunately, Marco Rubio, who I still don't really like, but he's fourth in line, so that's going to take some taking to.
Mm-hmm. So are there any Republicans that you do like, or you don't like any of them?
I don't like either party.
Oh, really?
Oh, laid back, I was going to read your message. I was getting there. Yeah, no, I don't like either party.
So do you believe in like the uniparty, like both parties are controlled by like same people?
I think that unfortunately both parties are, a lot of politicians, a lot of today's politicians are swayed by big money and corporate donors and what they can make off of the stock market. And we have evidence of this when a bill was introduced into Congress that was actually introduced by a right-wing Republican, Josh Hawley, about making sure that in the next election cycle, so this would start for anyone trying to come into Congress for 2026, they would have to divest all of their stocks and not be able to trade in the stock market. And surprisingly, that did pass committee. And originally the name of the bill was actually called the Nancy Pelosi bill, who I think is... Nancy Pelosi needs to get the fuck out of politics, for one. Like, that's my entire... Like, I can't stand Nancy Pelosi. Anyways. And so with that being the case, like, I entirely agree that this bill should be passed. Because if they are no longer able to be bribed or they're no longer to make trades in the stock market, then maybe, just maybe, we can actually get money out of politics, which is exactly how it should be. Because politicians, their main job, the actual point of their job to start with, originally, was to work for the people. Mm-hmm. when they're just making money off stocks, then they're no longer working for the people, they're working for themselves. And there were congressmen that made comments and statements during that time where they specifically said that you're not going to get the people that should actually be in here. You're not going to get businessmen that want to run for office. And I think that's a very telling statement. I don't have the video that I can really show people. I do have someone that clipped part of it, so I'm going to play that in a second. Let's see if I can get the right one. Here we go. I got to turn up my volume before I hit play. But I think it's very telling, the Republicans in Congress, what they had to say.
Anybody want to be poor? I don't. Right? So this idea that we're going to attack people because they make money is wrong. I've got a business background. But what I was just accused of is making money, and somehow I can't be fair and do things the right way. So I think it's disgusting what is going on here.
And I don't mind anybody being rich. What I mind is people getting rich while they're here trading stock, which I think we can all agree on.
Something very interesting happened.
Okay.
That was Rick Scott, right?
The first one that talked?
No, the other guy, the bald guy, right?
No, that would be the first guy that talked.
Yeah.
I think that might have been Rick Scott.
He's a billionaire, right?
Might be. I don't know. I mean, to be honest, I don't know all of their names. Yeah, it was Rick Scott. Someone is saying it was Rick Scott. But the other guy was Senator Hawley saying that, nah, bro, like, you don't need, like, we're here to work for the people, not to pad our pockets.
Yeah, I agree completely. I think they should take money out of politics and not have billionaires, because it kind of just feels like the Senate is just like a retirement home for America's most wealthiest and not representative of the people.
Well, and it's not only just that, right? It's also the fact, because it's not just them. Donald Trump went out on his True Social and spoke out heavily against this bill, saying that it was wrong. But this is
he didn't support it.
Okay. I mean, he did, though. That's part of the problem. Let's see. What is the name of this? I'm trying to find the name of it real quick. Let me see.
Of the bill?
Yeah, I want to pull it up. So yeah, what it would do is it would ban Congress, President of the United States, and Vice President from trading individual stocks and crypto. So within 90 days of the bill passing, so they would no longer be able to actively invest in stocks or crypto after 90 days. But it would also demand that all lawmakers, POTUS, and Vice President divest from investments by the beginning of their next term. So that wouldn't, the only part that would actually affect Donald Trump is the fact that he would no longer be able to trade in stocks or crypto, or just divest all of it into his kids' names, because that's basically all he would need to do.
So it applies the same standards
The
to Congress
Onus
for
bill,
him?
thank you. Exactly.
Okay, I can see why he wouldn't support it then. But
Do you support him not supporting it?
No, not really. But I feel like if Biden was in office, he wouldn't support it either. I mean, you know what I mean?
He's not, though, so I have no proof of this.
I mean, I don't know. I can't really blame him. I mean, would you want to lose money? I don't know. Wait, that's exactly what the other guy said in the clip,
Again,
right?
I don't think that if you are becoming a politician in order to make money, then you're not going into it for the right reasons. You should become a politician to actually fight for the people and the constituents from your city and state.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Queen.
So-
that always happens. It always happens.
Did you hear about Marjorie Taylor Greene going against Israel, whatever, the Israel funding, something like that?
Too little, too late. That's all I gotta say. Marjorie Taylor Greene is weird. Well, dude, she's very freaking weird. I do have to end, but I do appreciate you, man.
Okay.
So you have a good one. Do some more research.
Yep, you too. Bye.
Okay. All right, TikTok, 1 second. I'm gonna mute you guys real quick. All right, YouTube and Twitch. Thank you guys so much for being here. I appreciate it. Laid back, thank you for the 5. I didn't get to read your message. I'm sorry about that because you retracted it, but I would have read it. I promised you that. Again, like, let me be very clear. I hate all politicians equally. They all suck, okay? So it is what it is in that regard. Okay. So, YouTube, I will be back on live tomorrow, just at my normal time, 7 p.m. Eastern time. So look out. I'm now scheduling events out beforehand. So look for the events. That'll tell you when I'm about to get on. And just as a friendly reminder, again, for the next time that I'm on here, we do have the memberships and super chats available if you are so willing to give. It does help me continue to do this the 6 days a week that I do get on. It helps me upgrade my equipment, and it also helps me give back to like in donations for communities that are in need. So I hope you guys have a good night.